Hi, this tutorial covers the mapping tool accompanying the Virginia Early Childhood Foundation School Readiness Report Card. The mapping tool contains a visual presentation of 10 key indicators related to school readiness. In addition to this mapping tool located on the Map Tool tab, there's a number of other tabs presenting summary of the data in the report card, including a summary of the risk indicators, a summary of the results indicators, an overview of the findings, and conclusions and recommendations from the most recent report. The entire current and past editions of the School Readiness Report Card can be viewed and downloaded under the PDF Reports tab. So clicking back to the Interactive Map Tool. The Interactive Map Tool has obviously a map on the bottom, but in a moment when the data loads, you're going to start with data for the entire state of Virginia when you first come to the site. On here, you'll see the 3 risk indicators, the reach indicator, and the 6 results indicators. The 3 risk indicators are provided by the Virginia Department of Health and based on live birth certificate data. I will point out that while most of these are percentages, the births to teenage mothers is expressed as a rate per thousand. Rates per thousand are used instead of percentages when the rates are smaller than 1%. So 6.2 per thousand means that 6.2 out of every 1,000 females aged 15 to 17 gave birth in 2016. The reach indicator is the number of unused slots in the Virginia Preschool Initiative, the percentage, of unused slots. And the results indicators are all based on data from the Department of Education. Above this are buttons you can use to click to change the data year or to view population subgroups, either all for the total population or subgroups by race, ethnicity, or economic status. This tool contains data on the most recently available 5 years of data for each indicator. Year 5 is the most current year. Note that the year also varies by indicator, so you can see the specific year associated with each indicator in the table. Some data are updated more frequently than others, but year 5 is always the most current year available. So you can see, you can click on various years. This is year 5, and we see 2016 data for the birth risk factors and various years for education. But as you click from one year to the next, you'll see these increment down 1 year from the most current. All the way down, for example, in the birth data ranges from 2012 up to 2016. If you scroll down below the table, you'll see a map of Virginia showing the 133 localities, the counties and independent cities. If you hover over the table, you'll see a series of colors pop up across all the localities in the map below. And these colors are reflected in the key here underneath the table. The colors reflect the quartiles for each indicator, displaying its risk level. So quartiles are created by sorting all of the data for the 133 localities from low to high and dividing into 4 equal parts, about 33 localities in each group, and applying that color coding. So the best performing fourth of localities are called low risk and marked green. The next quarter are low to moderate risk and marked yellow. The third quarter are marked orange, and the localities at highest risk are coded red. And so far, we've just been looking at Virginia statistics overall, but you can also click on any individual county and see the data for that location. And the accompanying color code for the quartile is appears next to the value when you're looking at city or county data. Now, when localities are selected, sometimes you're going to see a dash instead of the data. So in this case, we have a dash for birth to teenage mothers, unused preschool slots, and 9th grade repeaters for Bath County. In most cases, this is because the data were suppressed by the agencies that provided it because of concerns about confidentiality, because the numbers get really small and there's some concern that individual children could be identified. Also, in terms of the VPI slots, many localities have used 100% of their VPI slots, so there's no data to report under the percentage unused VPI slots. So when you see VPI slots with a dash, it's typically that they don't have any unused spots. Also, independent cities are listed here in text along the side and can be clicked on. Each one of these can be clicked on just like you can click on counties in the map. There are a few independent cities that are large enough to be clicked on, like Richmond City, but in most cases, if you try and click on the tinier city locations on the map, they won't be selectable. They're too small for the map to detect. So you click on Charlottesville, you're just going to get Albemarle County. So if you need to see the city of Charlottesville, in fact, I recommend if you have interest in independent cities in general, just come over here and click them off to the side. That's the easiest way to do it. And just like with the state data, you can always scroll back up here and change the years or the population subgroup for whatever location you're interested in. If you want to get back to the statewide statistics, there is a link right here on top of the independent city data where you can click and bring it back to Virginia statistics. Also, another way to do this, if at any point you need to refresh and start up all over and get back to the main page, if you don't like anything you've done and get messed up, you can just click and hit enter and refresh the web page, or hit the reload button on your web browser to refresh the page, and it always starts back with a clean table just showing the Virginia statistics as it was when we began. A great feature in this mapping tool is the ability to compare data across years, groups, or locations. So for example, I'm going to scroll down and select Roanoke City. Okay, and all you need to do then is click Compare to lock in whatever's currently selected on the screen and place it to the right. So when I click Compare, you'll see a new column here that now has the location on top, Roanoke City. You'll see the year and the subgroup. So in this case, I've got year 5, all population data for Roanoke City moved off to the side. Now I can click any other city and it will be in the main table. So I can click Loudoun, Shenandoah, Page. So whichever county, I can click back to put the Virginia state statistics so I can compare Roanoke City to Virginia statistics. So you can make any comparison you want. Or you can come down, like I said, and click any of these counties. So I'm going to come over here and select Franklin County. So perhaps you want to compare Roanoke City to one of the adjacent counties. And you can add that to the comparison, and you can keep adding comparisons, as many as you like. There's a limit, of course, to what's reasonable to fit on the screen, but there's you can just keep adding these as needed. If you change your mind and want to remove one of these, then there's little remove buttons at the bottom. So if you decide maybe I don't want to see Franklin County, let's remove Franklin County and perhaps add Salem City instead. So I'll click down and switch Salem City to the main window, and then I'll hit compare, and now I've got Salem City compared to Roanoke City. And if you want to start over, like I said, you could individually remove all of these as you go, but you can also just go back and reload the page and start afresh if you like. So I'm going to refresh the page and start back from the beginning and show another example. So another common thing you may want to do is to look at multiple years for the same locality. So in this example, let's click, say, Louisa County. And we're going to start with year 1, which is 2012 data for birth, mothers with 12 years of education. And I'm just going to simply click year 1, year 2, year 3, and just keep adding. So whatever's in this main window, when you hit the compare button, jumps over to the fixed columns on the right. And now we have year 1 through 5 data, consecutive trend data for Louisa County for all indicators. Okay, and so I'm going to refresh the page again, just to start over. And you can, just like showing multiple years of locations, you can also show data by race, ethnicity, or income level. So the same thing with that compare group. So let's check Albemarle County, and we can compare all data to white population, Black population, Hispanic, and Asian. And maybe I don't want the all, so I'm going to remove the all and say remove Asian, and then add low income and not low income. So again, you can customize whichever groups that you'd like. And then go back, and I'm going to just keep refreshing to reload the page. It's always the easiest way for me than to manually remove things that I'm not interested in. And you can also compare any combination of locality, year, and subgroup. So you could, for example, look at data trends over 5 years only among Black children. So I'm going to click Newport News City now and say I want to look at trends just among Black children for Newport News City. So I'm going to start with year 1, Black children, Newport News City. I'm going to add that to compare, and then just again add each of year 2, year 3, and just again showing what I want in the main table, and then clicking the compare button to make it display. Or instead of just one location, looking at trend lines over years, you could compare data across multiple locations. So I could compare data for Black children in Richmond, Hopewell, and Petersburg City. So I'm going to start again with the refresh. There we go. So I'm going to select Richmond first, and I'm going to filter this for Black children in year 5. So let's compare Richmond City to City of Hopewell and Petersburg City. And then again, you could, if you wanted to add the state at the end, remember you can always go back here and add state totals if you wanted a state comparison. And you can continue like this however you like. You can add other subpopulation groups with any combination really of year, population subgroup, and location can all be integrated together into this tool. This concludes the Virginia School Readiness Maps tutorial. Thank you for visiting the Virginia Early Childhood Foundation's website.